We've heard a lot recently about young people committing crimes and being placed back in the community, causing outrage from victims.
An Eden Prairie program allows police to bring offenders and victims together. It's called Diversion. The goal is to keep kids and young adults out of the court system and to help them understand how their actions hurt someone. WCCO's Jennifer Mayerle found out firsthand the impact it's had on many lives.
Letters of regret and apology. Getting this wake-up call was almost like a blessing in disguise. We would like to offer an apology to a lot of people for a foolish and immature thing we did last summer. You were one of the few individuals able to see the potential in a 15-year-old who made an incredibly poor decision. Letters from young offenders who got a second chance, like Melody Isaman's daughter.
She got caught shoplifting when she was just before she turned 18. And I have no idea why. I don't really think she even knows why she did to this day.
Her daughter was able to go through what's called a diversion program. In Eden Prairie, that's where an officer and victim agreed to an alternative to the court system.
She had to do some pretty intensive work and volunteer work, and it was a wake-up call. Big time.
Randy Thompson launched the city's program 17 years ago.
It provides for a chance for the offender to restore the victim and for the victim to be able to explain to the offender how they're impacted by their actions. It's really powerful that it gets victims and offenders together talking.
He says roughly 75% of the cases involve shoplifting. Also included are things like curfew, chemical, and traffic violations, damage to property, disorderly conduct, and sometimes minor assaults.
The diversion allowed them to have a clean record, and now they're in a place where that allowed them to get to where they are.
Thompson tells us there are 1,200 success stories, but each year there are a handful of cases that get sent back to court.
They don't have buy-in, the family doesn't have buy-in to the program. If you don't have that, it's pretty tough.
It happened pretty fast.
Guy Henson agreed to diversion when he was the victim of a crime. Some teens wrapped cellophane between two signs across a street. He drove his collector car through it, damaging his hood emblem and antenna.
Said, I understand, I was young too and I did things, but I said this was kind of dangerous. It shouldn't be haunting them the rest of their life. And if they learn a small lesson now when they're younger, then they can work with that and build on that.
Isaman is grateful a program like this exists. Her daughter stayed out of trouble.
It's a gift that is amazing that these kids have a chance to change and make a different choice.
In Eden Prairie, Jennifer Mayerle, WCCO 4 News.
The participants in the Eden Prairie program range in age from 10 up to young adults. They tell us that the rate for kids reoffending is about 12%. Randy shared the lessons he learned through the program, and you can find that and more about the program on WCCO.com. Other cities like Minneapolis and St. Paul have similar programs.